Lady, the problem isn't in my pants. X-Men.
What if you made a hammock out of banana hammocks?
Dude. All right. This is a thing that happened. It was so fucking weird. I stopped at Meijer before coming here, and this kid...
You bought a banana hammock?
No. They don't sell banana hammocks.
Oh, you already have the banana hammock.
They're kind of like a specialty thing, I assume. Like, you got to go to a place that makes banana hammocks.
I feel
like, you're not just going to run
make.
into a banana hammock.
It's a store that only makes banana hammocks?
No, but... Okay, so you know how there's the rack with just bananas that Meijer decided, hey, you know it'd be a great idea to put next to our registers? Bunches of bananas. All right, so this kid in a hoodie, like, pulled over his head with, like, used the drawstrings. Like, hard. Like, so everything about this kid is odd. And I see him, and then he starts walking super close to me. Like 7 inches away from, like, my side on a diagonal angle. Like, really weird. As I'm going to the registers. But he goes to the bananas.
He just wanted a banana.
And I see him pull one banana. And then he gets in line behind me super close. The entire time.
Did he poke you with that banana?
Yeah, did he hold the banana in front of him?
I don't know. I was like,
Did he gently
is he
kiss
gonna
your
like
neck?
put? Well, his head was below my shoulders, so I don't think that'd been possible.
Yeah, a guy's head is usually below your shoulders.
What?
His penis head.
So he, I'm thinking like I'm gonna laugh so hard if like he puts the banana like in his pocket and then like does like a I got a gun thing, because he's got this vibe of like he's about to rob one of these registers, except they're all self-checkout. So it's so fucking like bizarre, but also like he's like 13 or something. And we get through the register, and I'm just like thinking how fucking bizarre the whole time that this kid's like super close to me. And then I check out. I have like 4 things, and he's got 1 banana, and he still checks out after me, and then follows me out the building. But then he just ends up walking home. Like, he just ends up walking past me, past all the cars, like just walking toward the sidewalk. And I was like, did this kid in the fucking winter walk all the way to Meijer to buy a banana?
I don't think he appreciates you tallying his bananas.
He got 1 banana. Like, it was just so fucking bizarre.
I wonder how far he walked for that banana.
Too far. Too fucking far. Unless, like, he really wanted to make a smoothie or something. He was just, like, 1 banana away from, like, the perfect smoothie. I don't know.
All right, well, welcome to this issue of X-Men. I'm Tony.
I'm Justin.
I'm Devin.
And today we're going to go over the last arc of Avengers Vs X-Men, issues 9 through 12, and then Uncanny...
Uncanny 18 and 19, as those tie in, like, during 11 and 12. And also an Avengers book, I forget the numbering, but it's just pretty fucked up, really. Versus 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Which nothing really happens in those.
All right, so looks like we already covered it.
Yeah, well, versus 5 and 6, 5 made no sense because the fights that happened during 5, you can't really place. There's one between Storm and T'Challa, and that's weird because it just ends in a draw, as in, like, you know, no one's the winner here, and they get divorced, is basically
how it
happened.
He apparently went MIA after Wakanda got destroyed.
He didn't. He was just in Wakanda.
Yeah, but
He
that's
just
what they
stopped.
said. They're like, nobody's seen him since, like, the Wakanda incident.
That's because...
Why is she fighting him?
The fucking Avengers are so like up their own ass that if he's not with them, then he's missing. But he's got a fucking kingdom. He's with his people.
He's not on the
fixing it.
helicarrier.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see him.
Yeah, it was stupid. You had the Angel fight there.
And that was really stupid too, and hard to place because up until now, isn't Hawkeye a prisoner? So when could this have happened? Plus, he's like fighting Angel as if Angel was still Warren Worthington III. And he's not. I mean, like, you know, physically he is, but mentally he's someone completely different.
Yeah.
So the fact that, like, you know, they're fighting and they wrote it so that he has all, like, these Warren memories and he's speaking as if he's Warren and he's got like a dynamic with Psylocke that's all old at this point. Like this is like, how is this even possible? And then Hawkeye's just a dick in it.
More shut up from Hawkeye.
No,
Yeah,
Hawkeye.
shut up.
Such a nice guy all the time.
Well, basically, he just shoots Angel in the stomach and runs away after Angel was already letting him go. Like, it's really fucked up. It's stupid.
Yeah, because Angel said he'll retreat, and he was like, backing up and to leave, but Hawkeye shot him anyway.
Yeah.
This is some BS, because Hawkeye won against Betsy and Warren. Like, in what fucking reality does this happen?
None.
You underestimate how many arrows he has. He's got so many arrows.
He got hit with the blade wings. Like, come on now.
It's funny because it sounded like you said Scott so many arrows, and he does shoot Scott with an arrow in the back of his neck later.
Yeah, we're teasing that.
Yeah. And then Versus 6 is basically just the fight between Hope and Wanda that takes place during issue 12.
Oh, I like that.
And then a bunch of random shit, just goof-offs.
Oh, yeah, those were funny, too, though.
Yeah.
Like, the argument between Scott and Captain America, they were just saying mean shit to each other.
Yeah,
on
they were
the
just, like,
beach.
dissing each other.
All right, so I guess we'll get into issue 9 here.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't want to talk about the movie?
Oh, yeah, the trailer.
Yeah.
We just talked about that. Yeah, finally, second trailer for
For
New
New
Mutants,
Mutants,
not
yeah.
X-Force. That would be weird.
That'd be dope. An X-Force movie?
But that's not what's coming out.
I know.
So, yeah, the new trailer for New Mutants came out, and it actually looks fucking fantastic. They nail Ileana.
Yeah.
Like,
They really did. Good accent, actually, which I liked.
yeah, we got Lockheed. It's confirmed to be in the movie now.
Really?
Yeah, you can barely see
That's
him in the
cool.
trailer, but somebody like paused the frame and then sent it to the New Mutants Twitter, and they're like, "Is this fucking Lockheed?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's Lockheed."
Is Shadowcat going to be in the movie?
I don't think Shadowcat's going to be in the movie.
Oh, they gotta put Shadowcat in the
I think
movie.
Lockheed's going to be more with Ileana,
No.
at least at the beginning. But I mean, from what you guys sent me, this is technically supposed to be the first X-Men MCU movie.
Yeah.
I heard they retracted that statement, though.
Makes
Oh,
sense. So
Because they want to see how it goes first. And then
Yeah.
they're like, all right, well, we didn't have... we had editing control over this. We didn't have, like, production control. So
their casting for this though is so good.
yeah, I like, at least just, from face value, they all look and kind of feel like the characters. So
Yeah,
I'm
that-
down for it.
I'm
The
not
dude-
a big fan of Bobby and Sam.
You don't like them?
Oh, see, I like the Sam one, the dude from... Maybe it's because you haven't seen
Stranger
Stranger
Things?
Things.
Yeah.
Because that dude, like, if you see him in Stranger Things, you can kind of see how he could play the character.
Just look-wise, I'm used to Sam having, like, really blonde hair.
Oh, yeah. And being more like... Well, they both have kind of a hickish vibe, but I guess, in different ways.
And Bobby, I'm used to him being shorter and darker. He was, like, tall and whitish.
Whitish.
Yeah, but isn't he Brazilian?
Yeah, but
And they have a...
he's dark. Dark skin.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
he
his
seemed
powers get darker.
He seemed like a Hispanic fellow to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a quarter.
I mean,
Hey.
this room...
Let's not insult people who have that going on. No, I love the casting for because Ileana though was the person I thought they were going to butcher her the most.
Really?
I thought there's no way they're going to give her the Russian accent. There's no way she's going to get the soul sword, and they gave her
in
both
those
of
ways.
those.
Okay.
Yep.
And the metal arm. Do you see the metal arm?
That was dope
Yeah.
as shit.
Yeah,
that's
and
pretty sweet.
Now it seems like they have the perfect Ileana.
And she came out of the stepping disc, too, in the sky.
Yep,
I'm excited.
it's going to be.
I don't know how they're going to do that, though. She's got, like, a lot of story to her. Not just mutant powers, so I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, they could just be like, hey, this is the story of this adventure. We don't really go into their personal past, and then that could be like the next music. movie.
They show in the trailer that through group therapy they all talk about their past.
Oh, well, then never
That's
mind. Fuck what I
when
said.
that's when she says like that day I killed 18 men, and then like everybody else is like they show.
I like how nonchalant she was about that, too. Like, that was
Oh,
very
yeah.
Ileana.
She did not care.
Yeah.
But like for Sam Guthrie, they show scenes of him in the mine, like as it's like the mine he's in is like exploding, and then they show Wolfsbane, like her origins. So I assume they're going to show everybody's. Maybe not Ileana. She might just really talk about it. I could easily see them keeping her kind of vague.
Yeah.
They showed the, like, bodies on the ground, but who knows? That could have just been editing for the trailer.
Well,
Yeah.
she's so closely tied to the X-Men, like, because of Colossus.
Yeah. But I mean, Colossus is one of the only X-Men that is officially in the MCU right now.
But I'm wondering if they're just going to drop him, though.
I don't think so, because he's gonna, unless they drop everything else with Deadpool
Yeah.
and just are like, it's just Ryan Reynolds. But I think they'll,
Like, all that was a fever dream. You think he could ever have a girlfriend?
well, in Deadpool very loosely ties into the previous. I mean, the only thing that ties in with that the Fox X-Men movies are that scene in the mansion.
Yeah.
Where he like opens and they're all just like hanging out there.
And that could easily just be bullshit anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they don't show Colossus or Negasonic in any of the X-Men movies.
Because time period-wise, that was the old X-Men anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
they should have been a completely
Different cast, because that's...
Yeah, that was the 90s X-Men.
Exactly, and that was supposed to be contemporary to, the mid-2000s, so... Yeah.
Like, it
I
should have
never
been
thought
like
about that.
Halle Berry and James Marsden in that room.
Yeah, so it was just clearly just another joke.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll just maybe they'll delete everything they have with Deadpool except for Ryan Reynolds, and
Well, 'cause
he
they-
just went into another universe.
Well, because they realized Cable is Thanos, and what are they going to do there?
Well, Thanos is dead though, and I don't think they'll get rid of Josh Brolin.
Right, but can you imagine, like, Cable walks up to Thor, and he's like, where do I know you from?
He's not big in purple, though, so.
He's like, didn't I cut your head off?
So AVX, issue 9, the only time you see an Avenger be a hero.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's why Cable from the future, he says when, like, in the future that the only person, like, the only hero that anybody remembers is Spider-Man.
Fuck, did he say that?
Not in this book, but Cable says it at one point that Spider-Man is the only person in the future that is remembered as a hero.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because Captain America sure the fuck ain't. Oh my god.
Yeah, like-
Such a piece of shit.
Spider-Man, like, he pushes everybody out of the portal and is like, I got this. I'll take on these two gods by myself.
You know what? In fact, actually, before we get into 9, I just want to cover a few things that happen on the sides that I feel like are integral to the primary story. Captain America forms an Illuminati meeting so that he can talk to Namor. So this is just before the Wakanda shit. And he first gives Tony Stark shit about having secret meetings while he's calling a secret meeting.
Yeah.
It's really fucking weird because Tony Stark's the first one to show up in the dark room that, it's just a table with a bunch of chairs in a dark room because Illuminati shit. And Tony shows up and immediately Cap's like, you guys and your fucking secret meetings and your fucking, like, to shape the world. And Tony's like, what are you doing right now?
Only I hold secret meetings. You don't get to hold secret meetings. I can be the only one trusted to hold secret meetings.
And then Doctor Strange shows up, and he's like, all right, so we're just the first ones here. And they're like, yep. And then Xavier shows up, and Reed Richards shows up, and they're all waiting around for Namor to show. And they're all like, Namor's not going to show up.
Yeah. Or as Justin calls him, Namor.
Namor. And Xavier the whole time is getting mad because he's reading everyone's minds, and he's realizing they're all blaming him for Cyclops because he was his first student, and so he clearly screwed up, and they're all thinking, like, this is all your mess. And so he's just being bitchy the entire time, like, you're all blaming me. I can see it. You're blaming me, and it's just not fair. He's his own man, and he does what he wants, and it's not my fault.
I only kidnapped him as a child and raised him.
And then Reed, I think it's Reed, is like, you shouldn't be reading our minds. And he's like, well, I can't help it. and so
Right.
what? I am. And you're all being dicks. And I'm out of here. I'm not taking this anymore.
The way you're saying that reminds me of, you ever watch Frisky Dingo?
No. I don't.
Yeah, like, the main character is this big supervillain, like, monstrous guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on a parody of Live with Regis and Kelly. And every time he's trying to talk about how he's going to destroy everybody, they keep on segueing it into an ad for Scion TC. And he gets all pissed at the end, and he's like, you're all doomed, and just walks off. And they're like, doomed to enjoy the new Scion TC.
That's funny. So Xavier's the first one to leave. And then Reed he kind of has the same stance T'Challa has, where he's like, you guys keep saying all this stuff, this doomsday stuff, but what have they actually done? Like, I'm only seeing good stuff. You're kind of being assholes. And, like, do we actually even have a problem here? So, you know, come get me when there's actually an issue. I'm out of here. He leaves. And then Doctor Strange is like, all right, well, I got a lot of preparation to do for the battle ahead, so I'm out of here. And then it's just Tony and Cap. And Tony's like, he's not coming. Cap's like, yeah, well, this is our best chance, is to talk sense into the one guy, you know, I have rapport with, to see if he can, like, get Scott, you know, to stop being crazy. Which is crazy in and of itself, right? Because of all of the Phoenix Five, Namor is the most volatile. He is the most crazy, and it's why he's the one who goes crazy first.
Yeah, but he's Cap's old war buddy.
Exactly. So it's like, and the only mutants that the Avengers side with are the ones who were villains first.
Yeah.
And then, like, go to their side, basically. Or who kind of, like, Uncle Tom their species and the sense of beast in Wolverine.
Me and Namor are boys. Like, we can work this out. Yeah, he's gone off the deep end every time we've worked together.
Yeah, literally. Considering he's the king of the deep.
That would be a great, like, porn nickname.
King of the deep? Yeah. And he already has the Speedo. It would just be Namor.
You could tell how hurt Justin is by this.
No.
Oh, there's I gotta send it to you later, but there's a panel that happens in the Uncanny X-Men that Gillen does, where they have to make peace with this like amphibious creature queen who looks like a monster fish, and so to do it, Namor just goes and has sex with her.
I have seen that.
Okay, it's funny.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
No.
And it makes what's the one chick? Hepzibah or what, something like that? Hepzibah. It makes her hot. She's like, ooh,
She's all for it.
She's like, now I'm into Namor.
Well, I think she's, like, based in mythology and has a lot of her own weird things going on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she's a space cat, so yeah, weird stuff.
Yeah, what happens in space stays in space.
Yeah, she's hanging out with Beerus. Why do you think he's tired all the time and taking decades-long naps?
Is this a Dragon Ball?
Yeah, it is a Dragon Ball thing.
Thing? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not caught up on the super stuff. I probably never will be.
It's literally anything you've ever seen past, like, Z.
Okay.
Is all Beerus.
So Tony leaves because he's finally like, all right, well, I'm done waiting. He's not going to show up. And Cap's like, well, I have to wait. And then, of course, Namor shows up. And
Fashionably late.
yeah. And it's kind of cool because Cap's, like, looking at a shield. And then, like, well, there's one panel. He's just, it's reflecting the room. And then the next panel, it's reflecting Namor's face. And Cap's like, Namor, buddy, you gotta stop all this. You gotta let the Phoenix go, and you gotta be one of the good guys and talk sense into Scott. And
I love your interpretations of other characters because they're always like this lazily done thing, but you sound like a genuine character from something else. Because that sounded like the asshole from Die Hard, who's like, John, Booby, come on, man, tell him we know each other.
well, basically is like the tone that he has in my head. And Namor's like, hey, I showed up because Cap's like, you know, as invaders, as Avengers, as brothers, do what I say.
And Namor's like, war!
And Namor's just like, because we're brothers in arms and because we have a history, I haven't killed you. I showed up to tell you, back the fuck off.
Let me plant this corn. Jesus. He's like, this is literally the most peaceful thing I've ever done.
Yeah. And this is, oddly enough, been the only Avengers book I've read on the side that has any sort of direct impact or, like, ties in. Because everything else has been like, hey, so the AVX stuff is going on, but here's what's happening in Luke Cage's personal life. You know, like, it's...
Like his wife is not happy that he swears around the baby.
They give so little fucks about the X-Men that even in their own books that are supposed to give their perspective of the tie-in against the X-Men, they're like, yeah, fuck those guys. They're kind of like, you know, a side thing.
Well, I think that's because they... So much during Avengers vs. X-Men, they only show the Avengers side of everything.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's like to get the X-Men side, you really have to read their books to see how it is. Especially
in these last 4 issues, they do everything they can to try to paint the X-Men as villains.
And meanwhile, the Phoenix Five stop Sinister, seemingly. They go to Bar Sinister and destroy it, because at this point, Like, this is kind of the first time you see that he has an entire island of clones and a society of just him. And they've been militarizing, and he's even made clones of the X-Men. Like, thousands of, like, Jean Greys and Cyclopses and Gambits and stuff. And the Phoenix Five just go there and just wipe it all out. Destroy everything.
You know Sinister's probably banging himself.
Oh, you know, straight up
He is. Yeah, and...
I feel like Deadpool told him, like, go fuck yourself. He's like, not a bad idea.
And all this time, from Schism, the Hellfire kids that Jason Aaron creates, he then has, like, they're sort of the background villains of Wolverine and the X-Men. And the Phoenix Five stop them. So it's another thing that they do that the other heroes sort of didn't care about or just letting happen.
It's almost like they're doing good.
Yeah.
Like they're not a bunch of bad guys.
Like, and Scott's even, like, surprised to find out, like, wait, you're the ones who made the Sentinel? Because right away when they go there...
I thought they knew that.
No. They knew that there were kids, but they didn't know what the kids looked like because they had the masks on and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, they see these kids, they stop a Hellfire thing, and then Emma reads their minds and realizes they're all fucking monsters. Meanwhile, like, Scott's, like, talking to the kid, like, hey, buddy, like, do you know who's in charge around here? Like, are you, like, wards of the Hellfire? Like, are you here against
That's the same way I talk to Logan. It's like, hey, bud.
Yeah. And Emma's like, hey, Scott, you don't get it. They're the ones. They are fucking monsters. And Scott's like, oh, is that so? All right, then. And he just puts them in Rikers. Now they don't stay because they buy their way out, basically.
Yeah,
but
well, because comics.
Because comics, yeah.
And also because rich people.
But they're the only ones to do anything about it. And they don't kill anyone. It's a thing that keeps getting glossed over. They don't kill anybody.
Yeah.
Until Namor goes crazy on Wakanda, they don't kill a single Avenger in all their fights. They're imprisoning everyone. And it's a thing I feel like just keeps getting glossed over. That until they really start going off the deep end...
Yeah, they accidentally almost kill Hawkeye, and then they bring him back from brink of death.
Yeah.
Like, they're not trying to hurt any... Their only goal is corn. That's all they want to do, is plant some goddamn corn.
I feel like they have a whiteboard set up, and it's like, corn. Like, they circle it.
Somebody's like, is there other food?
Like, they figure out how to make it digestible. So that it actually breaks down in the human body.
Like, I guess we can plant some rice, too, I guess. Yeah.
So in AVX-9, though, this is now after the Wakanda situation where Namor goes crazy. And this is really where they start fucking up because...
It's my boy Spider-Man.
Yeah. So Hope is training in Kunlun because, you know, Hope training. That's all she does in this series so far.
She is the immortal Iron Fist. Sworn enemy of the hand. Defender of Kunlun.
Yeah. Well, not even quite, but...
No, not at all.
Not at all.
She does use the Iron Fist.
But the Avengers return to Kunlun and they find out that they lost Thor. That Colossus and Magic beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And dropped him in a volcano.
Yeah. And that's kind of where they all, like, where the Phoenix Four now really start fucking up. Is that Illyana brought Limbo to Earth to become the prison for the Avengers. And that's actually a really fucked up villainous thing to do, apparently. And even the X-Men are like, okay, now this is too far. We just watched them. They're throwing Avengers into volcanoes. This isn't cool.
Yeah.
And to be fair, this is exactly what Scott was saying don't do.
Yeah.
And they just sort of went and did it. And then, like, even Colossus, like, he's like, so, Illyana, I kind of need some help. I gave whales legs because I thought they might like legs.
I know that part was so
but then I forgot they couldn't breathe on land so
I
well.
was a little kid.
And she's just like, doesn't care. She's like, don't worry, when we get back, we'll make more whales.
Yeah. And she's like, if it helps, I like them this way.
Yeah, I think they look cool. But I like that it's not just like any legs. He gave them like lobster claws.
Yeah. There is a thing, too, because Spider-Man is watching over Hope's training, and he's trying to give her, you know, sage advice, because she's like, I'm bored, I want to hit something for real. Look, I know I spazzed out a little bit on the moon, but I'm ready for the Phoenix. Like, because of course you are.
I also want to point out that what Scott was doing with Hope is exactly what the Avengers are doing.
Oh,
with
exactly.
Hope now.
Exactly what, yeah.
And that was the thing that she was bitching about that the X-Men were doing. They were trying to train her and get her ready for the Phoenix. They were doing something worse. They were trying to train her to just kill Cyclops.
Yeah.
And then they wanted the Phoenix to go away.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're hypocrites.
Yes.
So,
except Spider-Man.
Except Spider-Man.
He's just
And he tells her, and it's weird because it's like they're all just implying that she's a member of the Avengers now. Like, you're one of us, kid, you know? And Spider-Man says, look, I know it's crazy. We got gods and super beings and all this and Hulks running around, and there's a lot of moving parts, and you just got to get in where you fit in a lot of the times. But sooner or later, your time's going to come where everything's going to ride on you. And that's why you're training, to be ready for that moment. And then he swings off, and it's funny because he's all like, wax on, wax off, don't let Johnny sweep the leg. Yeah.
Well, I love, too, she says, don't be so gloomy. You act like you haven't already been through a million different scrapes like this. The good guys always win in the end, right? And he's like, tell that to my Uncle Ben. She's like, what? And he's like, nothing, keep training.
Yeah.
He references Uncle Ben so much in this, and he's like, my bad.
Yeah, he does. And he's sort of like, or fucked, like swinging away. Emma actually does start losing her humanity a bit.
Yeah.
She did in the last issue as soon as she tells Namor, like, go fucking kill them. Like, go destroy Wakanda.
Right.
Well,
I just mean she's slipping even further.
Yeah.
Scott finds her. She's, like, meditating over volcanoes. And he's like, hey, so this is a pretty barren place to be. And she's like, yeah, well, there's no one around for miles, and I needed some quiet. And he's like, oh, well, how are you feeling? And she's like, well, the power is a bit much because I kind of just want to keep turning everyone's brains off. So I thought maybe I shouldn't do that, and so maybe I should get away.
At this point, the only people really holding the Phoenix together are Colossus and Cyclops.
Yeah. Arguably, they're the only good ones in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, the other three know they're pieces of shit, but that, they're going to follow the lead of the good guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure about at this time, but Ileana doesn't have a soul.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I have a whole bit on Ileana and Colossus I'll get into later, because it ties more into later, but yeah. You find out she was being a bitch the entire time, a little bit, yeah.
And Colossus is also juggling the Cyttorak.
Yeah, yeah.
Juggernauting.
Juggling.
Yeah.
He's in the circus. The juggling juggernaut.
Yeah. Well, that's an issue.
Man made of metal.
That's a real issue he's having because he has the power of the Phoenix and he also has this bloodlust to destroy everything in the liking of doing it. Because of Cyttorak, and it's like he's such a good person that he's able to combat both those destructive forces to temper it down as much as he does. Because even when so what happens is the Avengers, when the X-Men decide to leave the Phoenix, 4 now, Storm goes to T'Challa and says, hey, I want to help you guys, and T'Challa's like, fuck off, we're divorced. And she's like, what do you mean we're divorced? Like, the high priest of Wakanda annulled our marriage. She's like, but wait, you're the high priest of Wakanda. And he's like, yup.
Oh, would you look at that?
It's so crazy, right? And she's like, look, well, our stuff aside, I want to help you guys to end all this. And, I know where the Avengers are being held prisoner. So they form a rescue party to go to... because they're in Siberia. That's where she raised Limbo. So it's a giant volcano in Siberia now. And they form a rescue party to go there to take all the prisoned Avengers. And when they do that, Ileana and Colossus show up because, of course, they know they're there because demons, talk to Ileana. And they're like, hey, Avengers showed up.
Yeah, it's kind of her thing.
Yeah, it's kind of her thing. She's like their queen or whatever. And they go there. And they're like, hey, so where do you think you're going with those prisoners? But they do that with, more fist throwing and sword swinging. And Spider-Man's like, all right, this is that moment. This is my moment to step up and make sure they can all leave. And he tells Danny, like, hey, tell Hope I meant what I said. And which has got to be weird for Danny, right? Because, like, what the fuck do you say? And he's like, wait, what? And Spider-Man, like, creates like an avalanche of rocks to fall between the Avengers and himself and the Colossus and Ileana, separating them.
Before that happens, though, Cap tries to protect Charles Xavier, And I know he's like trying to tackle him out of the way. He straight up fucking crossbodies him.
Oh.
It looks fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So then Spider-Man goes to take on Colossus and Illyana by himself, and he gets the shit beat out of him by Colossus. And Illyana the entire time is like, why don't you just kill him? You have the power to. And even Colossus knows in his mind that he has the desire to, but is still fighting it. So I feel like that's a perfect example of like, here's a guy who's trying so hard not to give in to both Sidorak and the Phoenix, like that he's not killing Spider-Man. But then the heroics of Spider-Man, like,
yeah, they parallel each other really well with how Colossus is trying to fight off the urges to kill him, and how Spider-Man is like just trying to combat the urge to give up. Like he knows he just has to keep on fighting.
Yeah.
And he knows he's not going to win.
And then Illyana and Colossus start arguing with each other, where she's like, look, you're being a child because, like, you have this power, just fucking use it. And you don't deserve it if you're not going to use it. And he's like, look, I don't like what it's doing to you. Maybe I should take the power from you so that you're not burdened by all this power, really.
I love how she's like, what if I just took your power? And his response is like, stop.
Yeah.
Don't say shit like that. Stop.
And then Spider-Man goads it just a little further, reminding them of what happens with that power if it, So then they end up fighting each other. A part of me always felt like this was a little forced, but at the same time, I guess it makes sense where they both also a little power hungry at this, and then they just had enough justification to themselves for why they were doing it. And they basically knock the power out of each other. Meanwhile, at this time, Scott was talking to Emma. Emma was like, look, I've been reaching into so many minds. I know where they're keeping Hope. She's in Kunlun. I know it doesn't sound like it's a real thing, but it's a real thing. It's this.
Yeah, they have dragons.
It's this kung fu dimension.
It's technically heaven, I guess, like Kung Fu Heaven.
Yeah,
Kung Fu Heaven.
Well, like they're all the mystic cities like that are called the cities of heaven.
Yeah, but I mean like a heaven in the way that there are several hells.
Yeah, and there's like clouds.
It's like
and
one
stuff.
of. Yeah.
So did you see Xavier using some psychic weapons or something in here?
Yeah, he's got like a psi blade he uses at one point.
He's got two of them. I don't know if that's like from Strange or if he's doing that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
It reminded me of X-Men Evolution when he's a part of Apocalypse's Horsemen, and he just has like energy blades that he conjures.
I don't know. Maybe because it's really hard to use telepathy in a cool way, in fights.
He cut this demon in half with it, so it's like... and we kind of glossed over Emma. She killed that person.
Well, I was going to get in... because that happens after her conversation with Scott. Because she's like, I'm slipping, don't go... You got to stop me, because after she tells him about Kunlun, he leaves to find Hope. And
she goes back and so she finds this family or this dude, and she basically knows his past from being able to read his mind. And she says that, like, in 1987 you were flying and you hit a mutant basically, and you just thought you were going to get away with it. And she kills him right there in front of his wole family.
Presumably
him dead on the
gave
table.
him like an aneurysm or like fucked him up, made him a vegetable.
I think it's pretty spelled out that guy's dead.
I'm just
his
saying
eyes bleed and he collapses face first on the table.
I'm just saying they don't technically say she kills him, but it's pretty fucked up. And she kind of just goes around doing shit like that.
So I mean, I guess it was for a good reason. I guess she's still just as good as Wolverine at this point.
Well,
there's a justification for the fucked up thing.
Wolverine's killed like 4,000 more people than her, at least.
He just kills people on the payroll too, like people who just go home to their families. He's just murdering everybody. So
he stabs stomachs all the time.
But how many times has he gone into a berserker rage, right, where he wasn't in control of his actions, but he's actually just killed a bunch of people?
Yeah,
and they're not even necessarily bad guys. He just killed people.
Yeah, that and when he goes feral and is just killing people.
Yeah. Meanwhile, when a giant cosmic firebird gets all angry and then takes away any of your self-control, it's your fault.
Well, maybe the Avengers would have attacked Wolverine if he planted any crops or gave people some water.
See, that's what they should have did. Instead of saying it was the Phoenix, they should have just...
Dude, that was actually...
It was a berserker rage. That's why I killed Xavier.
They would have been cool with it.
Dude, that's actually one of the things Reed says to them is like, look, are you just mad that you're not going to have a place in this world? if they
they don't need
accomplish what they do, like there's nothing for you to avenge.
Yeah, historically, the Avengers always have an issue with somebody who's a lot more powerful than them. Like with Sentry, they show up with every single Avenger on his front porch, and we're like, "Hey, you want to talk?" With like helicopters and shit in the background. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck is this about?"
Right. Yeah, they're such hypocrites. I mean, they literally just did it to the X-Men with the helicarrier at the beginning of this thing.
Yeah, they do it to the Hulk for years until like there's other people who arrive who are stronger than the Hulk.
Which is funny what happens later.
They launch him into fucking space at one point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's some Illuminati bullshit, but yep.
They just have a problem with anybody who's stronger than them.
So, suddenly, after they realize, oh, wait, so that means if Colossus and Illyana don't have the power anymore, it just went to Scott and Emma, and they start seeing like light coming through the sky of Kunlun, and
yeah, he just gods his way into the conversation.
Yeah, and Danny Rand is talking to Hope like, "I'm sorry, Hope, we're not going to be able to finish your training." And she's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "That's what it looks like when someone rips their way through a dimension."
Yeah.
And Scott appears in the sky, and he's like, "Hope, time to come home." Yeah. And that's how
come with me if you want to live.
Right?
So I thought Hope could only take mutant powers, but isn't she taking like Scarlet Witch's? She's still
Scarlet Witch
right
is a
now.
mutant, yeah.
At this point,
Scarlet Witch
doesn't she take Iron? He takes Iron Fist, or she takes his power.
She takes
She takes the Iron Fist power
Shao
and the
Lao's
power.
power.
She does both. She takes the Iron Fist and the power of Shao Lao.
Well, the power of Shao Lao is Iron Fist's power.
Sort of, but she straight up takes it from Iron Fist like later.
Well,
does
they
the Iron Fist, yeah.
Because they decide that she is like that. The Phoenix is tied to Kunlun, right? So because she is the embodiment of the Phoenix, so she is also tied to Kunlun. Like, so it's like if she can take the power of mutants, she can also then take the power of that. Just because the Phoenix is tied to both. I don't know. It's honestly it's sloppy because
it's a mutant dragon.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to go 10.5 because 10.5 takes place kind of during 9. Like, because 10 is already the fight, and 10.5 is right before the fight. Iron Man, it's all about Iron Man trying to figure out, what the correlation of Wanda, Kunlun, and Hope is. And he figures out how to create a device that they can use. Do you remember what Doctor Strange did in Infinity War with the Eye of Agamotto, where he just saw all the futures?
Eye of Agamotto.
Agamotto, yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I just thought it was Agamotto. All right, yeah. But he uses that to see all the futures.
Yeah.
And see all the, define the one they win.
Yeah, because he's using the time stone to look through all the different...
They basically do that. Yeah, they create this, headband thing, he and Beast, to put onto Wanda and use Wanda's probability powers to see how can they possibly defeat the Phoenix. And they keep coming up. Their highest results are Iron Man, Wolverine, and Thor, and they still keep losing with all of those. It keeps showing a simulation of Cyclops defeating each one of them. And then they realize, oh, they didn't try using Hope, who's right there. She just comes in the room like, "Hey guys, what's up? Remember I exist?" The whole MacGuffin of this thing. And they're like, "Oh yeah, Wanda's like, it totally slipped my mind that you were a character. So of course none of the trials we just ran involved you. So we lost every time. Now that I remembered you're a person,
yeah.
Oh, that's how suddenly we have a version where we win.
Yeah, don't take it personally. We just didn't care about you until now.
We just gave you no value.
We only took you to piss off Cyclops.
It's almost as if we don't care about you.
No.
Yeah, we were just training you to give you something to do.
Yeah.
Not for anything.
We just were like, Cyclops is doing it, so we might as well keep on doing what he's doing.
And that's all 10.5 is that Iron Man realizes, oh, it's Hope. The thing Cyclops said back in issue 1.
Yeah, the thing that means, overcoming obstacles. So maybe try that.
When you're down?
Yeah.
You don't what the one thing you're not supposed to give up on? Hope.
It's like, oh, they aptly named you.
All right, so issue 10, Scott is in Kunlun and he's trying to take back Hope. And right away, like Danny's like tries to do something. He's like, "You guys don't fucking get it. I'm too strong for all of you."
Oh, it's funny. He's like, please, Iron Fist, don't make me laugh.
Yeah.
He's like, bitch, sit
Tells
down.
him to fuck off. It's funny. Ben, Hawkeye, and who else was it? Yeah, fuck. There's one more.
I know what you're talking about.
They all show up, and Ben's like, and Cyclops just shoots them all.
I think it's Thor.
Yeah, it is Thor. It's Thor, Hawkeye, and Ben, and Ben's like, and Cyclops shoots him, and he's like, how's that for clobbering time? It was so great.
He's like, I know what you're going to say. Fuck Aunt Petunia.
That's why I fucked your grandma.
You rock motherfucker.
Oh, man. For a second there I was reading my notes for 9, and I was like, wait, Colossus and Illyana are in this again? So Emma makes the X-Men slaves because she starts really going off the deep end.
Yeah,
She starts getting
she's
worshipped.
not handling it well.
She really isn't. So the remaining X-Men, she's making kind of worship her, and Magneto kind of calls her out on it, like, hey, what are you doing? This isn't right. This isn't how you're supposed to treat your people. And she's all like, hey, remember Genosha? Fuck you. And walks away, and he's like all sweating, like, oh man, she really had me by the balls there.
Yeah, and even this, like, Scott gets blamed for all of this when later when the X-Men turn sides and they're like, yeah, fuck Scott.
Yeah,
And he
meanwhile,
wasn't even there.
Yeah, he's in Kunlun not killing Avengers.
Yeah, just trying to talk.
Like to be fair, he's not talking anymore. He's just trying to take Hope back.
Yeah, because they started attacking him.
Yeah. But he's also not murdering any of them. And he has the power to kill every one of them.
Very easily.
Like, even Iron Man shows up, like, 'cause he's like, what's... And then he gets hit by Iron Man. And he's like, what this is everything I got. And he, like... And then it, like, comes back to this, like, 'cause it does the Emma stuff and comes back. And he's like, hey, Stark, leave me the fuck alone. And he's, like, all, like, fucking fried out, just laying in a bunch of rubble.
Yeah, like, he could have easily just finished him off there.
He was telling him, too, to begin with, like, stop resisting, you're putting people at risk. Like, he wasn't trying to fight him, he was just going to get Hope.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, Hope is missing on Kunlun because she ran off to find Lee Kang, right? The Thunderer. The guy who's, like, kind of the head boss
Kang?
there.
Yeah, he's
Liu Kang?
he's
Is
not
it
like
Liu Kang?
No,
he's
it's
not
Lei Kung.
Lee Kang.
he's not like a boss. He's more of like a trainer. Like, he just trains people.
Right, but
Personal trainer.
Like,
Kunlun has,
but he's like the head personal trainer. Like, he's the one running.
Kunlun has like a separate entity that's like the leader of Kunlun. He's
Right,
just
but he's
like
the
trainer.
facilitator. He's
Yeah,
the
he's
guy
like head of
doing
security.
all this stuff. Yeah. So he takes Hope into a cave. Like, this is your last lesson.
Yeah, she calls him Mr. Thunderer.
Yeah. And Scott's like, where the fuck is Hope? Because I got shit to do. We gotta be getting out of here. And then suddenly he gets shot by a fucking dragon because, Shao-Lao the Undying. He's like, hey, this dragon once defeated the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then
not this dragon. This one's a baby.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
The dragon, a lot better than this one.
That's exactly what they get into. Is like, Shao-Lao was once defeated the Phoenix, but not this one.
Which I think that'd be really cool because they're doing that whole Avengers VC thing right now. If they got into like Iron Fist versus Phoenix, because they're both on that team.
Yeah.
So if Jason Aaron, because it's also Jason Aaron,
Right.
If he takes it in the direction of like, oh yeah, this is what establishes the Shao-Lao Iron Fists against
Phoenix
the Phoenix,
connection, yeah.
that would be awesome.
That would be.
But so far, the Phoenix is just banging Odin.
Yeah. It bugged me because right now Cyclops is the Phoenix, and so it just made me think Odin and Cyclops are banging.
How dare you?
You said it, and it burned my mind.
The Phoenix is a beautiful lady.
Decides to be, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah. I guess.
So there's a thing that ends up happening because Scott shoots down the dragon, and then Liu Kang, right?
Liu Kang. Luke Shao
No, the guy, the Thunderer.
Oh, Luke. That's like Luke from Mortal Kombat.
He does that flying kick thing, you know?
Yeah, he does do that to Scott, and it looks like he breaks his spine. Like he's like, holy shit, that was a fucking crazy kick.
And then Ryu shows up and Hadokens everybody.
But no, he's like, that's what you do, Scott? Kill a wounded animal and hurt a little girl? And Scott's like, what the fuck are you talking? Because everyone keeps saying like he's gonna hurt Hope, and he's like, I'm just trying to take her away from you assholes.
Right. He's
This
like,
whole
I'm trying to save
time.
my species.
Yeah, and he's like, what? Hurt a defenseless animal? It just shot me with fire.
Yeah, it's
with
the
dragon
only
fire.
thing that can hurt me.
Like, I hit it back. Defenseless animal. You attacked me with it. Like, it's such a
Stop throwing dragons at me, bro.
like, it's such a weird thing that like they're trying to like turn it morally. Like, how dare you hurt a wounded animal? And
It's-
like, oh man,
Everything in this book,
the fucking
they
grandstanding.
do that to Scott. Everything, like they throw a rock at him and he like hits it back, and they're like, "Hey, what the fuck? You throw rocks at me?"
I know, right?
It's like, how dare you not get decapitated by my shield and throw
So
it?
it doesn't work, and they run, and then she does this thing that actually ended up feeling like was lazy writing, kind of, because she runs into Wanda and some of the other Avengers, and she's like, "Oh no, Scott's here!" And
This is when she uses dragon breath. By the way.
yeah, she uses the dragon thing. She's able to copy Shalaw's powers so they can run away. And she's like, "Oh my god, I don't know what's happening. I shot Dragonfire and blah blah blah." Like that thing where the young character suddenly starts just rambling on to people about how crazy the situation is. That's just, I read that and I was like, "Oh, okay, that seems like a stereotype."
Weird that Beast is still with the team too at this point,
The
because
Avengers?
he like walks out on him a couple
came
issues
back,
ago.
probably.
But,
Yeah, but
and
that's
he's like, "I don't really have anywhere to go. You guys."
but that's sort of what he does, right?
yeah.
He just gives up and then shows back up like he was
He
always a part of the
slides in,
thing.
Yeah, like he never left.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hope says some bullshit. She's like, look at what you've done here, Scott. Why would I side with monsters who destroy innocent people's lives? It's like, what innocent lives is he destroying?
Yeah.
He gave people food.
He hasn't
Like,
done
I can't stress
anything
that
bad yet.
enough.
He actually does nothing bad until issue 12.
Yeah.
And even then,
They make him-
that's the Phoenix. Like, that's arguably inarguably, it's the Phoenix. So, Hope then because Scott comes over and Wanda tries to stop him, and it actually doesn't work. And he's like, "Hey, I'm a lot stronger now. You were able to beat a portion of the Phoenix power. Now I have half the Phoenix power. Fuck off. Like, your chaos thing isn't going to work." And then Hope combines Wanda's power and Shalao's power, and she does a chaos punch that is never referenced ever in the history of comics, but they make a big deal out of it by saying the first time the chaos punch is ever used. And she punches Scott in the neck, and then he goes
throat
flying
punch.
through a portal onto the moon, and they even say like it takes an hour for him to recover and get back up.
I love her catchphrase too, because she says, "Kill, yeah!"
Yeah. And it,
They do. It's such an unnatural way. Chaos Fist, first ever usage.
yeah. And it's like, yeah, and it never gets used or brought up again.
Last ever usage.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
throat punches him too, by the
Yeah,
way.
straight
Yeah.
throat punched.
Like, that's why it took him so long, because he's like, like, what the fuck?
And then that's the end of issue 10 is basically him realizing he needs more power and then thinks of Emma and then leaves.
Yeah, and Uwate just staring at Scott.
Yeah, like kind of angrily. Like, look at you, getting throat punched,
Yeah, Uwate, you'll be dead in 2 years.
right? From a guy with one eye.
Yeah.
Well, it ends with Magneto like going to Xavier for help. He's like, Scott and Emma, they're losing control, and still, like at this point, Scott has done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma's a bit of a dick.
Emma has
but-
lost control.
Well,
already.
okay, so there's a thing that happens right before Scott leaves to Kunlun between Magneto and Scott. But I had that, because that was in 18. Because 18 jumps around a bit. There's a conversation between Scott and Magneto that's pretty great, where Magneto's like, "Hey, Scott, you need to rein it in. This is all going too far. You're starting to act like me." And Scott's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? And I'm tired of hearing everyone say I'm acting like you. I'm nothing like you. I'm winning."
Yeah.
It was great. It was a great moment.
Like a Charlie Sheen.
I know, but
tiger
still.
blood. Yeah, so Magneto just pulls some shit, takes off his helmet, and he's like, hey, he like rings up Charles, like trying to get in his DMs.
Pretty much, yeah. So 11, Cap recruits the Hulk. He's all like, "Hey, buddy, I know that we've been really big dicks to you in the past, but we really need your help."
Just got over the whole shooting you into space thing.
Yeah, and then you need your help, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll smash for you."
What would have made this so much cooler? And I know technically he's dead right now, like in this, but if he was talking to the Sentry, that would have been so much cooler. Because the Hulk does nothing after this.
Yeah.
They recruit him, and they're like, yeah, like, what do you...
He sort of hits Emma, but not really. Like, he does nothing. Yeah.
If it would have been the Sentry, and they had, like, a big fight between Phoenix, Cyclops, and the Sentry, that would have been fucking dope.
Yeah. Especially since, actually, before this, Scott has the piece of the Void in him.
Scott has... At one point, Scott takes on the responsibility of having every single evil entity housed inside of him. He has Apocalypse, he has the fucking Void, he has the Phoenix, and
controls all of them.
Yeah, and everybody always just wants to be... No.
He has the strongest psyche of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Stronger than the 3, like, telepaths that trust him.
Yeah.
He does not... Like, Jean Grey does it with one entity a couple times and dies every time. He did not die.
In fact, he shows that, like, claws don't matter when you're the Phoenix.
Yeah,
because Wolverine stabs him in the face. And he's just like,
That happened in Phoenix, what was it, End Song or War Song, when the Cuckoos had it? Wolverine sliced one of the Cuckoos in the head, and it just, like, their head just came back together.
Yeah.
Which was pretty dope.
And also, now that I'm thinking about it, fuck Wolverine. He gets in the Phoenix in him a couple years from now.
Yeah.
And it's just never a thing. He just never really mentions it, even though he apparently has it for the rest of time.
Because arguably the Phoenix is not just, like, they overreact on the Phoenix.
Yeah.
The Phoenix has only ever gone bad once and did nothing to Earth. Like, it fucked off, it destroyed another world when it ate their star. But, like, that was it. Like, it was never a malevolent force against humanity or against the Earth.
Yeah, and it's this cosmic force beyond good and evil.
Yeah.
Which they can't accept with the Phoenix, but they always accept it with Galactus.
Yeah.
Like, Galactus is something, like, we cannot kill Galactus. It is something that has to always exist. Fuck the Phoenix.
It's because a white man talked to him. And Scott doesn't count as a white man in the Marvel Universe because he's a mutant, and mutants are...
Yeah, I mean, technically, Galactus wouldn't either, but you always see him as what you are.
No, I mean Reed.
Oh, yeah, Reed.
Yeah.
Well, fuck Reed.
It's because Reed, the Fantastic Four, they're the ones who bridge that gap with Galactus, and so the Avengers trust them because they're the white family.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's the yellowish-orange one.
Well, yeah, there's the
I feel like they have a
one.
theme song. Like
He's white at heart.
Happy, like a Family Matters theme song or some shit for the Fantastic Four.
But anyway, so the Hulk saying "I smash for you," it just reminded me of a panel in 9 that I forgot to mention when the Avengers are coming back.
Hulk clap those cheeks.
Well, yeah, because Red Hulk is being propped by Wolverine when they were first coming in and they realized Thor's missing. And Red Hulk's just like, I want to smash. I want to smash. And Wolverine's like, I know, buddy, I know.
It'll be
okay. You'll get to smash. It just made me think of, like, frat boys, like, it just had, like, they had a night out and they got too drunk and he got whiskey dicked, so he couldn't do anything.
Like, don't worry, bro. We'll smash later, man. Well, all 9 of us will go out and we'll find one girl that will bang us.
It's kind of fucked up. They only hit up Hulk when they need something.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they never hit him up for, like, Avengers golf.
And then the Avengers and X-Men team up. Like, the rest of the X-Men who hadn't gotten with him yet. Like, Rogue shows up and it's sort of like a field of wheat or whatever.
I bet it's all the wheat that the Phoenix 5 planted.
And they see Xavier, and it's like this glowing, like, heavenly light coming from Xavier and the Avengers. Like, they're the shining knights that, the scared little, animals that are the X-Men are coming up, like, out of the tall grass. Like, they're all, like, scurrying to him, like, oh, is it safe? Can we come out? Like, are we getting away from the evil overlords? Like, it's such a shitty, like, juxtaposition that like, I don't know where it's coming from outside of, like, now Emma's being a dick, but, like, that's happening just now.
Yeah, she just started to be a dick. Well, I guess dropping him, they were all pissed off about them dropping Thor into the volcano, but it wasn't really a volcano, it was a limbo prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine.
And he's Thor,
Yeah.
so it's not like they're just, dropping Hawkeye into a volcano or some shit.
And I kind of feel like if Scott saw it, he'd then tell him to undo it. Like, he didn't get around to being able to.
And Havoc's here right now. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Well,
You're going to turn on your brother?
Well, he becomes a pretty fucked up character when he becomes the leader of the Uncanny Avengers.
Yeah.
He does the whole, like, don't say the M word. That's our word. It's hurtful. And
It's Cap's whole, we got a bad public relations towards mutants right now. It's his whole mutant team just to try to be like, I'm not racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's at hate rallies.
Yeah.
Oh, this might have been, like, right before Miss Marvel became Captain Marvel, though. I was thinking, because we see her in the old suit. She's still Miss Marvel, but 2012, she became Captain.
I believe, 12 is when she became Captain.
It happens during Consequences, I think. Because Consequences sets up what the Marvel Universe kind of becomes after this. And I think she's Captain Marvel then.
Yeah, this is right when a bunch of stuff kind of changing over. Like, Nova first appears in this.
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
In a couple of years, they'll bring over.
Does the most damage, too, out of any Avenger when he attacks Scott.
Yeah, he kind of does
But still nothing.
a flying space version of the Flash's punch. I forget what it's called, but like just flies in from space and tries to tackle him. But we'll get into that later.
I don't know. I don't think he did damage.
No, he didn't do anything.
No,
just
but
hurt
I'm
himself.
saying the most
Yeah.
out of any
He
regular
did the
Avenger.
most of nothing.
Yeah. So the X-Men end up teaming up with the Avengers, and then Emma really is starting to go dark. Because with this power amplification, she's starting to be like, I want to destroy the world and just start it over. And she's like, can't you see this, Scott? And he's like, I can see it, but no, we can't do that. So it's this, like, she's trying to pull him over and like, I know you want to take the power from me. And he's like, maybe that's what you're thinking, but no, I can't do that either. Like it's obvious that the Phoenix wants to be a whole entity again, and it's goading, it's making Emma goad Scott into taking the power, but also Scott's trying to resist it. Meanwhile, and this is where it starts to tie in with 18, is that Scott and Emma are also talking psychically. Like their minds are working on so many different levels now that they're subconsciously speaking together, having dinner, while they're also having this conversation, and then the Avengers show up to attack them. So in the moment that, because they're having this conversation, and Emma's like, Xavier's here. And then it goes to, like, they're on a beach, and they're talking. Again, beaches and Cyclops.
Cyclops loves his beaches.
He really hates them. And you find out that Xavier is actually tying up their active minds so that they're fighting, the Avengers just off of instinct, which is fucked up. That the only thing that stopped Cyclops from this Phoenix incarnation is his active mind.
Yeah.
And he's stopping him. So if Cyclops even were to do something in this state, it's only the Phoenix working on instinct to defend him. It's such a fucked up situation. And Emma's resisting it better, obviously, because she's a stronger telepath with the Phoenix power, and so she's doing majority of the fighting. But in their mind, they're having this dinner and they're just talking, and Scott's even like, look, I don't think they understand just how powerful we've become. Maybe I gotta explain it to them again. And Emma's like,
by kicking their ass.
no, and Emma's like,
how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And Emma's like, no, we're past the point of explanation. They're not going to listen to us. And they realize that they need more power. And actually, it's kind of a clever but fucked up thing. They're having this dinner that Emma has created for them psychically, that she's gone into other minds. So they're eating the steak, and Scott's like, this is actually a really delicious steak. Whose is this? And she's like, yeah, I found the memory of this starving homeless man who snuck into a Michelin-starred restaurant and stole a steak from them. So it's like the most incredible steak you can imagine, plus the hungriest person you can imagine. It must have tasted incredible. So they're experiencing that.
It does sound delicious.
Yeah. And then he's like, okay, well, what's this glaze, this sauce on it? It's really tangy. And she's like, yeah, so it's crazy. While I was looking for the steak, right, I found this cannibal serial killer. So, it's blood. And he's like, that's disturbing. And he's like, do you ever feel like this force is changing us not so much for the better? And she's like, yeah, but I don't give it much thought. And it's probably a bad sign, right? So they agree that the Phoenix Force should be unified, and she's like, you can go ahead and take it, because, a queen of ashes is still a queen, right? And Scott's like, all right, well, a toast first to you, my love, or whatever. And then in the X book, that's when you're seeing he breaks away from Xavier, because Xavier keeps locking his active mind, and he's like, get the fuck out of my head. And then he shoots up, and that's when you see, like, he attacks Emma and then brings her down. And they're like, he's going to kill her. And I think Red Hulk says, no, he's just taking the power. So in the book, they make it look as though he's just power hungry and he's
he just
ripping it from her. And even
they also make it seem like he's losing at full power and takes it out of desperation.
Yeah, that's how they made it look like.
Yeah, which, he broke Xavier's hold with his own power before he took it. So he obviously didn't need it to break Xavier's hold. But in Uncanny, they show that it was consensual. That she's like, yeah, go ahead and take it, because we do need the power unified. And then, Scott gets really angry afterwards. And Xavier forces his way into his mind one more time, and he's like, fuck off, and forces him out. And because Xavier's like, this is it, this is enough. And he's like, it is, and just kills Xavier. And in that moment,
keeps on telling him, like, stop, don't make me do this.
Yeah.
Like, you're forcing me to do something I don't want. Like, stop. And Xavier's like, nah, I got you, bro. And then,
because they're still saying, like, all the atrocities you've committed, and he hasn't done anything yet. No atrocities. No death. No.
Namor did the thing. That wasn't all of them. It was Namor.
By the way, the death happens. It does come, but it comes directly as a result of all of this.
Yeah.
Namor's the only one who really fucked up at this point. Everybody else just, I guess they whoop the shit out of Avengers over and over again, but that's because they keep coming to fight him.
Yeah. They keep just imprisoning them and not killing them like crazy, right?
And here with,
like, that was Namor's one gripe too. Is like, how come you're not killing them?
Yeah, which, it's funny to bring back up. You were talking about Captain America trying to talk to Namor. Like, oh, I'll talk to him and he'll talk sense into Scott. But Namor was the one telling Scott, no, this is war. We need to start killing these guys.
Before he kills Xavier, too, like, Hawkeye shoots him in the neck with the arrow. And Spider-Woman's like, nice shot. And he's like, he's going to fucking kill me. He's like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. But it's still a good shot.
This is a crossover event and you're Hawkeye. You die in all of them.
And then Cyclops, like, looks to Xavier and he's like, fucking see?
Yeah,
that was a kill shot. They're trying to kill us. And then Iceman's like, not us, just you. Fuck you. You're a piece of shit. Like, everyone's just going bad on Scott. And he's like, dude, none of us have thrown any killing blows. And that was an attempt of assassination. And, like, if I didn't have this power, I'd be dead. But, yeah. And so he kills Xavier. And then this is kind of a great moment of just, like, showing how awesome his power is. Because then Wolverine looks to Hulk, and he's just like, throw me. So it's fucking Hulk fastball special. And he throws him. And Cyclops, without even lifting an arm or looking up, he just burns Wolverine to nothing. Just, like, because he's still just traumatized by what happened. And he's crying, like, why did you make me do this? Why is this all happening? And
could have ended Wolverine too. Didn't kill Wolverine. Could have.
Yeah, could have. Just stopped him. But, like, and then he blames Captain America because, of course, like, fucking, why are you happy now? This is what you've pushed me to. And he goes dark.
Yeah, that because he never tried to get all of the Phoenix Force. Like, when this began, that wasn't his goal.
No, he didn't even want the Phoenix Force. That was another thing that keeps getting glossed over. Like, because first of all, no one knows that you could just reject the power of the Phoenix.
Yeah, Jean Grey had to find that out by just doing it.
Yeah, and that didn't happen until 2018.
Broke up with the Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not me, it's you.
And arguably, you have to be as powerful as Jean Grey to do that. So the Phoenix is a force that possesses you, and now you just are it.
Yeah.
And it has to decide to leave you, or apparently it's forced out of you. Like, this is the first time it's also ever been split. So this is all new territory. So Scott's a person who didn't ask for power, and once he received the power, he used it to the fullest potential in the most benevolent of ways, and he gets shit on the entire time.
Yeah, they forced him to be the monster that they wanted him to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like even in this book 12. This is 12, right? Or is this?
Yeah, we're going into
Yeah,
12.
we're going into 12.
So when he's talking with Emma, Emma's already like bad, and he's just telling her like, "Stop! Like, what the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Because she's saying like, "Oh, if it was the Avengers with this power, they would have killed us already."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, stop! We're not doing that." And
Oh, and that's a thing that happens in Uncanny, is that she tells him, "Oh, by the way, I'm the one who told Namor to go to Wakanda." And he was like, "Fucking what?" And she's like, "Yeah, and also because of how powers work, I had sex with him in our mind, but because we're so powerful, it was basically sex. Like, we fucked." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I know this is a lot, I'm telling you, but I do still love you, but I don't like how this is changing me." And so this is all leads into like her giving up. Like, okay, you should probably take the power.
And this is right around the time that she's like, "Oh, you want to take the power? All I've ever done is love you. Also, send a guy to commit genocide and fucked him in his mind.
Yeah.
But all I ever did was love you."
Yeah, and he even is like, "What's wrong with you?" And she's like, I don't know. I don't know. Something's wrong." She's like all over the place. Yeah, so Tony is still in Kunlun with Hope and Wanda, because all the other Avengers are the ones fighting right now. And he realizes that Hope and Wanda, and this is Marvel, are yin and yang. Because Marvel decided, they're going to be opposing powers working together. What's a symbol for that? Oh, yin-yangs. Yin-yangs. Kung Fu. We can make Kunlun a part of this.
Yeah.
That's basic. I guarantee that's how they decided, this is where the Kunlun stuff's going to come in.
They're like, "Oh, we need all this fit together." And they're like, "Oh, she is like the death of all mutants, and one's like supposed to be the resurrection for mutants."
Yes. So Tony realizes that when Wanda... the Phoenix is a force of balance, and Wanda created a giant imbalance when she decided no more mutants and basically committed genocide. And the Phoenix was like, "What? Fuck that!" And then the Phoenix, from wherever it was in the cosmos, created the birth of Hope. So it created Hope as an avatar. And then it itself is like, "All right, now I'm flying there to go and manifest as a power to restore the balance of what this is." So now this is Tony Stark admitting Cyclops was right.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
All the way back, but not giving him credit for having been right. He's getting credit for I came up with this. And even later, other characters are like, "Oh, well, wonders never cease. Tony Stark, a man of faith."
I just realized here it was bullshit when they were fighting Scott. Captain America's like, "Scott Summers, you are under arrest for crimes against what fucking crimes?"
I know he has done nothing yet.
He planted corn in a
He killed a pedophile.
Area.
That's all he's done.
This was even before he killed Xavier, so literally he's committed no crimes except for planting corn without a fucking license or some shit.
And who knows? Maybe in that moment too, he read Xavier's mind and saw that he wanted to fuck June.
License to corn.
License to corn. So, yeah. So Tony realizes Wanda and Hope are yin and yang because Kung Fu. And the Dark Phoenix is winning but causing a lot of destruction around the globe. Now, this doesn't make sense. I don't understand how he's fighting all around the world with the Avengers. Because they're all in one spot, but then suddenly they're all around the world fighting.
Yeah, what doesn't make sense to me either is that they told Spider-Man to, fuck off and go to China. China has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
If Spider-Man fucked off and was not fighting with them anymore, you think he'd be in New York, but for some reason he's in China right now doing regular Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, well, because they're saving people from the destruction of the natural disasters that are being caused, and also the meteors falling from the Phoenix power raging. So this is what happens when you get the Phoenix super angry. Apparently, it just starts destroying stuff all over the place.
I feel like Hulk showed up just to get his ass whooped because he got punched from Sydney, Australia, all the way to Sacramento, California.
Yeah.
Also, all of this is after Hulk went World Breaker.
Yeah.
And was doing essentially the same thing, but with ill intent, and nobody holds it against the Hulk.
And people were actually dying. No, they go to him for help.
Yeah.
Because he's one of their monsters.
Yeah, once an Avenger, always an Avenger.
Same thing they say with the Genocide Queen.
Exactly what they do with the Genocide Queen.
Yeah.
Here we have that fight with Hope and Wanda, but I wanted to throw in from the verse books, which was pretty sweet, because Captain America starts being a douche, or he's like, "What are you guys doing?" Because they were creating destruction. It was like Captain America level 15 and guilt trips, and then they like back it down and like, all right, or Scarlet Witch is like, okay, fight's over, we're not gonna fight, and then Hope punches her in the face and knocks her out. It was like Hope level 16 and insubordination.
And that is what happened, because during this time, Hope starts blaming Wanda for everything, like you should. And they start fighting, and that's when Tony sees the power and realizes they're yin and yang. But also, he already made that realization. There's a lot of repetition that happens in this story.
Yeah, he just can't
seemingly for no
can't
reason
figure out what he's already thought of.
Yeah, it's weird. Because it's like they know Hope is the key to winning. That's why they kidnap her in the first place. But then they forget about it, and then they realize it again. What?
They parallel what we're saying about like Scott doesn't lose it until this moment. They parallel in the art of this book. Like the artist is like agreeing with us on this point, because the whole time he has his visor on, even though he doesn't need it. Yeah. And he says so he can like see through his like normal eyes, so he doesn't get caught up with the power of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he gets the full force and they make him rage, he loses the visor.
Yeah.
They say it themselves that now he's Dark Phoenix. He went dark. So the whole fucking time before this,
they realized he wasn't dark.
Yeah, he was good Phoenix.
Yeah. He was the regular Phoenix. And that's exactly what 6.5 was. The entire digital issue was the perspective of Scott realizes he's got to hold on to his humanity. Otherwise, what is the point of any of it? Like, what connects you to the despairs of humanity and mutant kind if you don't feel that or remember that you had felt that in your own life? So
it wasn't even the full power that made him lose it either. I think it was him killing Xavier. Kind of lost his shit.
Yeah, the trauma of having come to that point. And Uncanny 19 is great because it's titled The Passion of Scott Summers. And
it's like comparing him to Jesus?
I guess.
Sounds
He's
like a
actually...
porno.
Do you remember Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan? Just sort of how he's a character who's almost omniscient and omnipresent. Like, he experiences his own life all at once. So his life, birth to death, everything that's ever happened to him, it's all the same thing. And that's exactly what ends up happening to Scott. So he's actually... It's not just that Scott... is so angry and that he's causing all this destruction. He's not even mentally present for most all of it, because he's just reliving everything, and he's doing it all from like an overhead perspective, where he's seeing his entire life falling out of the plane, meeting Jean for the first time, meeting Xavier for the first time, fighting Wolverine in the present, fighting Wolverine during Schism. And it's cool because it's like, I'm meeting a red-haired girl, I'm meeting a bald man in a chair, I'm fighting a man with claws, I'm cheating on the redhead, or I'm holding the redhead as she dies, I'm fighting a man with claws. He's experiencing everything all at once, and he's also like horrified at what's going on, like all this destruction, and he can't stop it, or like how Beast is suddenly there, and Beast is like, saying like I'm right for the 43rd time or whatever. Like he's calculating everything. The weight of one person, like of Emma's body, is like whatever kilograms, and meanwhile like he's reading another character's thoughts. He knows how many hairs are on another person's head. Like he's seeing. It's too much. Like he's overloaded with information while he's also fighting, while the Force is also causing all this destruction. And then he's constantly just trying to like before, like, this is what it looks like when he doesn't have the ability now to rein in the power and control it, where it's just all lost from him. And paired with, like, that the moment where he kind of finally breaks through the Dark Phoenix, and he's like, he does the thing they all end up doing, like, fucking kill me. Like, I can't control this, end this, because it being done is better than this raging on, because I don't want this to happen. Like, I'm not in control anymore.
Which just goes to show the same thing, that it was good Phoenix before, he was controlling the power, and now as soon as he can't control it, he's the fucking hero, so kill me.
And at one point, like, Beast is there, and he's like, fucking, Beast is talking again, I'm so fucking tired of this, can I stop this? And he's like, yeah, I can stop this. And he disintegrates Beast to nothing, and then he's like, wait, no. And he undoes it. And then he's like, wait, did I just undo that? Did I do that and undo that? Can I undo all this? Like, is it too late? Like, is it possible to gain control over all this? And I actually like this one part where he ends up fighting, because he sort of, like, as all this is happening, he expands into infinity also. Like the earth becomes, like, nothing to him. It becomes tiny. And he's fighting Wanda and Hope now. And he says, I feel words form in my mouth. They sound like me. They sound like me as if I were an angel. And what remains of me thinks Lucifer was an angel too.
Paralleling that with issue 12, though, too, with how, like, strong, like, powerful he's become. When they're fighting him, Cap yells, like, Avengers, take him down. And he's got, like, the most badass line where he says, take him down? You would have a better chance of stopping the sun by throwing pebbles at it. The Phoenix is beyond your power.
Yeah. There's so much great dialogue in this. And also, just in terms of, like, it's the book of shut-ups. Yeah. That's like the first thing he says after, like, he kills Xavier and everything is, like, I think Cap is saying something. He's just like, shut up. And then he goes dark. But he fights Wanda and Hope uses the power of Shao-Lao and Wanda to take the Phoenix from him, and it's like in that moment he realizes, yeah, of course, it was all about Hope.
Yeah. Iron Fist's like, that's my girl, which was weird.
Yeah.
It's like, how long you known her? A week?
Yeah, right. Well, and right before that moment, too, is the one we were alluding to earlier, where Cyclops is, like, floating in the sky, and Nova flies in, tries to tackle him down, and Cyclops just like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm kicking your ass. And then
he was like,
plows in the ground, and he's just, like, holding him up, and he's like, I don't think you were, man. Like, done.
Yeah, it looks like he effectively just hurt himself with that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, he just tackled himself into the earth. And then Scott's just like...
He does that a lot. If you read Nova, like, Sam Alexander's
Does he belong to you guys? Yeah, right. Is he one of yours?
But Sam Alexander's Nova does that a lot if you read his books at all. Like, most of the scenes are just him crashing into the ground.
He does that at the beginning of the series.
Yeah, that's kind of his thing.
Isn't he nigh invulnerable when blasting, though?
Essentially. I mean, he can still kind of get hurt. It's kind of like Cannonball, but not as much.
So Hope gets the power of the Phoenix, and she becomes like a white Phoenix, and she goes around and she undoes everything Scott did. So even the destruction Scott did as the Phoenix gets undone.
Yeah.
So lives lost, whatever, like if there even were lives lost, because they don't actually show anyone get killed or anything.
Which kind of implies that she purposely left Xavier dead.
A little bit. Yep. A little bit.
She knew he was a pedophile.
So, because later... Captain America even says that Hope undid everything you did, that you caused with the power of the Phoenix. She undid it. So, which makes sense, because she was always meant to be the fucking vessel of the Phoenix.
Yeah, Scott's whole plan the whole time.
Yep. And honestly, Scott's plan was only for her to become the Phoenix. And then you figure out after the fact, like, okay, we just need her to become the Phoenix, and then we figure out what to do afterwards. But we know that much is true, that has to happen.
And it doesn't say he killed people, but it does say there was blood on his hands, so...
Yeah, well, Xavier's.
All the blood, it says.
All of Xavier's.
Well, he also says in the Uncanny book, or I think it might have been... because the fight's happening between both of them, that when he gets hit by Hope, that he feels all the breaths ever taken leave his chest, like, of anyone. So there are lots of...
Alls.
Exaggerations. Yeah. So she takes the power and undoes all the damage, and then she's like, I'm the White Phoenix now. I can do all this stuff. And Wanda's like, no. You don't get to be the White Phoenix. You're the Phoenix vessel because you're the person who can let it go. And together they release the Phoenix, and that brings back mutants because the power, it dissipates around the world and just magically
you start
mutants
witnessing mutants being born.
They say no more Phoenix.
Yeah.
But how long did that last?
Way to call back your genocide.
Yeah, right.
But like that goes into what I was saying about Spider-Man. He's just in China, like hanging out, trying to rescue a bus.
Yeah.
And a mutant flies out of it.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, something's going on here. But they go to the Stepford Cuckoos who are using Cerebro at the Jean Grey school, and they just see like the whole board highlighting. Yeah. It's like, oh shit.
Mutants are back.
Yeah.
Like Scott called. The way you said that made it sound like it was a living bus, like Thomas the Train and shit. Like he was rescuing the bus.
So Scott wakes up and like he remembers killing Xavier. This happens in the Uncanny book.
I just realized they made his handcuffs out of ruby quartz too.
That happens later, yeah. Scott wakes up. He's kind of in a tent, and Beast is there, and Beast is giving him shit. And Beast lets slip that there are new mutants. Like, because he's like, are you happy with yourself, Scott? Because now mutants are hated and feared more than ever. And, like, these new mutants are going to have to deal with that. And he's like, wait, did you just say new mutants? And
also, how do regular people know it was a mutant thing going on?
Oh, because of fucking PR?
Yeah, like,
Captain America was spinning that story hard.
Because of all anybody should know is, like, we got food and water and peace between nations.
They knew that was a mutant thing because Scott was making it known.
Yeah, they know that the good things were, but then...
all the destruction?
Yeah.
Well, they were like, oh, it's the Phoenix, and if the Phoenix gave you all that good stuff, it gave you all that bad stuff. I mean, it was also the Phoenix that then came back and then fixed all that bad stuff, but, bad Scott. It's all his fault.
Yeah.
I feel like Captain America was doing commercials and shit and hate rallies. He was hosting them himself.
You know what? I'm picturing that, Spider-Man, how he does all those green screen. He's like, in front of the camera, which is the green screen. He's like, hello, welcome to your after-school special. Mutants are bad.
So
you made it through Avengers Vs X-Men.
He's talking to Beast, and he's like, wait, did you just say there are new mutants? And Beast is like, what are you talking about? You're crazy.
He's like, no, I didn't say that. No.
What you talking about, Cap?
Basically. And Scott's like, no, you fucking tell me now, are there new mutants? And like he starts yelling at him. He's like, yeah, there are new mutants. And he's like, I fucking knew it. All right, I don't care. Throw me in prison forever. I would have done it all over again. It happened.
He's like, I was right.
Pretty much. And that's when he leaves the tent and he does the X with his arms while he's in cuffs.
Great fucking image.
Yeah.
How did he do the X with this? Because at the beginning of that, he has the...
Different book.
No, it's a different book.
Because I was like, he's got the...
That's why I was talking...
He's like...
Uncanny. Because he was...
Smush his hands together to make
because they even bring up that, like, I hear they're making... He brings up, I hear they're making a special helmet for me. And that's the helmet he gets. So, like, this is actually...
lame-looking helmet.
I know.
Bug eyes.
His helmet's so much cooler that has, like, the part that opens in the middle.
Yeah. Well, that's happening in Uncanny 19. So, like, he's in a tent and he's being transported to a prison. So this is technically happening moments before 12 of AVX.
They never put Jean in prison.
I mean, they tried.
Well, she committed suicide.
They tried.
She came back. They should have put her in prison when she came back.
There was a whole trial.
Well, the aliens tried.
Yeah.
Well, the X-Men defended her. Xavier defended her.
Yeah. Xavier
there was another
volunteered
trial
the X-Men to die.
Oh, yeah.
There was another trial when she came back.
Because he's like, I still didn't get to fuck her.
Yeah, right. Got to keep her alive.
But hey, the jetpack's fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
So Cap and Wolverine, they're assholes to Scott because they show up in his cell and they're like, yeah, so you're a real piece of shit and you killed Xavier and good thing Hope was around to fix all the damage you caused because, boy, were you an asshole and we were right the whole time. I mean, technically you were right, but we're not giving you the credit for that. And anything you want to say, Wolverine? He's like, nah, nothing I need to say. He's a piece of shit. And Scott's like, yeah, so there's new mutants, huh?
Yeah, how about those New Mutants?
And he's like, how do you know about that? And he's like, little bird told me.
You see Captain America's
bluebird.
themed cup, though?
A furry bluebird.
Captain America's got a coffee mug over here with stars on it.
Yeah, with his
Imagine it.
own logo. It's like, what an asshole.
Yeah.
That just shows how much he's into the whole PR thing.
He probably wears
Well, he's
Captain
selling them on
America.
TeePublic.
He probably wears Captain America shirts that he bought from like Target.
I mean,
He wears this on his off day. Like,
I
just
mean,
a Captain
technically, his
America
whole
shirt.
uniform is like his merch.
Yeah.
No, but he specifically like goes to Walmart and buys the Captain America shirt just to wear.
Yeah, just on his days off, he's
Yeah.
got the cheap $10 Walmart one.
Yeah. And yeah, Hope got the jetpack again somehow. Maybe he had a second one.
Yeah.
I assume so.
And she flies, and there's a little flower blooming. So just let you know, Hope's alive. And that's the last time she's ever relevant.
Yeah.
Well, until now.
Until she shoots out Cyclops' eye.
Well, even then, she's not really relevant. She's just there. She's a mutant tagging around. But now she's the facilitator of the Five.
Yeah.
So-
But still, I love Hope. I wish she was around more. Like in a book. I really like that Cable run with Hope.
Yeah.
But they, as Cap's like scolding Cyclops, telling him like, you did a bad thing that you were right about the entire time.
Yeah.
He's like, was it worth everything? And he's like, do you even know how the Phoenix works, man? Like, for there to be rebirth, there has to be destruction.
Yeah.
Like, and also, like, maybe not, because you kind of forced my hand on everything.
Yeah. Like,
We could have just gave it to Hope, because we already had the destruction of when this bitch killed all the mutants.
Yeah. The destruction already existed. There was only going to be rebirth, but you know.
Yeah, Scott was like, I think he said something about those mutants, and Captain America's like, don't try to make this out to be a good thing. It's not.
It's like, yeah, you kind of caused an entire war where, like, you could have just let Hope get the power of the Phoenix, and then we could have figured this out together. Because if you think about it,
He
right?
literally killed one man for the resurrection of a species.
Yeah.
So
And one
he's
man
like,
that was arguably an asshole.
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
And he was asking for it.
He's like, I'll put you down. You put me down. He's like, I'm really telling you, man.
Again, back to what we said before, when you're wearing like a vest full of knives and somebody's trying to hug you.
Arrogance gets you killed. That's basically what he did. He was so full of himself. Xavier's like, oh, I'll stop you.
Yeah, he
Watch
tried to
me."
make Cyclops bow down to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got killed for it.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Speaking of something you'd kill for, we have shirts that you would kill to get your hands on.
Yeah.
Go
we
to our
have merch.
TeePublic. We have shirts. We have coffee cups. We have phone cases, laptop cases, zip-up hoodies, unzip up hoodies that are just always one piece.
Yeah, there's like just a single thing.
It's like a zip-up hoodie missing a zipper, though. No, it's just open all the time.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's just connected. It's a jacket, basically.
Yeah. All of a really dope logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go shop our TeePublic. Go check our Facebook. Like the Twitter page. Everything is at X-Men Podcast. Yeah, that's for today.